Greetings. We continue our study of 1 John, considering boldness at the judgment. We have read from Hebrews 3 and 4. And if we remember the rest of that story correctly concerning Israel and their wilderness journey from Egypt to their possession of the promised land, then I think we can safely say that Joshua and Caleb would have enjoyed this boldness at the coming judgment. However, by contrast, the other 10 spies and all those who perished in the wilderness would not have had this kind of boldness. Rather, they would have had fear. We all have an appointment with death and the judgment which will surely follow. The scheduled time of that appointment is what is uncertain. No one knows the exact day nor hour when they will be called from time into eternity. Yet we can know that we can stand with confidence or boldness because as He is, so are we in this world. If we do stand ashamed before God at the judgment, it will be because we were ashamed of Him before men, having failed to be bold at His throne of grace. So then let's consider how to obtain such boldness. Again, I stress, boldness at the judgment begins with boldness at the throne of grace, which enables us to be bold before men, which in turn will enable us to be bold about our standing before God on Judgment Day. We have documented how Paul asked others to join him in seeking boldness before men by exercising boldness before God's throne of grace. Paul had asked the Philippians and the Colossians to pray for him concerning the boldness which he needed to have before men. 2 Timothy 2:15 states, "Study," that's diligently study, "to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." The word ashamed in 2 Timothy 2:15 is unique. It's the only usage of it in the New Testament. It's Strong's 422, which is the negated compounding of the preposition upon and the word meaning to be ashamed. Therefore, we could say it functions as a double negative for emphasis. The positive restatement could be rendered a workman that may have boldness, rightly dividing the word of truth. In the end of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 7:28 and 29, it says that Jesus taught with authority and not as a scribe. It's very doubtful that anyone who does not diligently study the Word of God and rightly divide it for the purpose of knowing and doing it could have much confidence or boldness about his standing before God in judgment. 1 John 2:28 says, "And now, little children, abide," that is, remain in Him, "that when He shall appear, we may have confidence and not be ashamed before Him at His coming." Again, we see John is inspired to contrast confidence or boldness and being ashamed together. However, the word ashamed here is not from the word phobia, rather it's from the root word in 2 Timothy 2:15 to feel shame. That is, the one who rightly divides the word will not be ashamed. So the question for you and I is, do we carefully ponder whether we will hear the superlative commendation, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant," or whether we will hear that superlative condemnation, "Thou wicked and slothful servant"? If we stand with boldness at the judgment, it will be because our love is made perfect, as 1 John 4:17 says. In essence, we have allowed God to make our love mature and perfect.